most of my life I've been in the Diocese of Evansville. My family lived in Huntingburg. We were members of St. Mary's Parish in Huntingburg for most of my life growing up there. I did most of my professional work in the ministry field, primarily in youth and young adult ministry, campus ministry. And when a friend of mine asked me to get into development work, I said, I'm not really that kind of person, I don't think. That's not my background. And they said, well, it's less about the hard skills, we can teach you that, but it's more about relationships, which is what Lisa's person said, I see a strength in you. And that was the invitation, and that really made me take a little bit of a risk, a little bit of a chance, and say, God, I don't really know if this is what you're calling me to, but I trust that this is, if this is what you will, that you'll make it happen or you'll lead me through it. This is not a job as much as it is a ministry, an accompaniment with other people that you enter into their lives. And when you do that, it's all about listening and responding authentically, just like you would do in friendship. And so that's sure, there's finances, sure there's other things as well involved in this, but there's a lot of it is rich with just working with people and listening and responding. A big part of my role here in this office is supporting parishes to be the primary reach, the primary point of encounter, right? And so it doesn't mean that people can't encounter Christ in other capacities, but the parish is really, it's the community, it's the family, to where people really are brought up in the faith and experience transformation through the sacramental life that's offered there. This office will support parishes in both evaluating the current situation and then also proposing with them, with Father as the lead and the staff all on board, and with the council members and the leadership of the parish all on board. What does it look like to move further into establishing and sustaining a culture of discipleship for that particular parish? This office really wants to make sure that we can be a supporting arm to say, how can we do a bunch of the legwork for you, facilitating the conversations, providing the resources, providing ongoing formation and training for your parish staff and leadership teams, so that, Father, you can be steering the ship and you can be kind of making sure the vision of making disciples is happening, and you can even be walking alongside of them as a leader without having to take more of your time. I think it's super essential and super critical. Everybody wants the end result. Everybody wants the fruit, right? They want an increased offertory. They want increased participation in mass attendance. They want increased volunteers for all their events and ministries. And that really only comes truly if people have felt and experienced and heard and responded to the call of being a disciple. And so if we get that right, then I think the fruit will come from that. The Catholic Ministries Appeal is a huge support for our ministries throughout our diocese, and both on the diocesan level and then also on the parish level as well. And so it supports things that I think a lot of times we might not be aware of. There's so many ministries it touches that in one way, almost everyone is either directly involved or people in their community are directly involved. Stewardship often gets reduced to mere financial giving or financial contributions. And that's definitely a part of it, or sometimes people think of it as like an extension of the finance office. And it's really not that at all. But stewardship really is about a commitment, right? It's about a response of someone who's encountered Jesus Christ and has chosen to follow him. When we look at stewardship through the lens of discipleship, I think it changes everything. And I can't say it enough because it really does matter. If all we ever see stewardship as is a check written, we missed the point. And we missed out on a lot. The reality is that God has given us everything. And he's just asked us to really use it in a way that glorifies him, right? Not to build our own kingdom, but to build his, and to really to be a witness and a light to the nations, a light to the people who are placed before us. That's stewardship. Like, that's real stewardship. And I think that changes everything.